Let's give him a little time to come in because, you know, it takes time, so whatever. But that was short and sweet, that last video. I'm gonna just keep it going until any Hebrew Israelite comes on, really. Let's see. But yeah, don't support these bum-ass rappers out here. And don't support these fake-ass leaders of these Hebrew Israelite groups that just take your money and go get these hoes out in the world, and they basically give them a bag for them to do whatever the hell they want them to do. Make sure you give this video a like. You know, these Hebrew Israelites always front like they're gonna come on. They know that if they had the truth, they wouldn't have any like fear on joining the live stream. Claiming to be people from the Levant, you're clearly sub-Saharan African. When you look at the DNA evidence and all the images that you see of Semitic people, they didn't look like the Nubians or the Cushites. The Nubians or the Cushites were the ones that always looked a little bit different. They were far away from this whole area where people that wrote the Bible would even have known much about them. The little bit that they knew, they would point it out and call, like Simeon, who was called Niger, or Niger. The reason why they're pointing his race or ethnicity out is because he was different from everybody else. If you want to say they called him that because he was black, then obviously then he's different from everybody else. The same logic that Hebrew Israelites use for Genesis chapter 25 when they're talking about Esau. And when Esau was born, and it said that he was red all over like a hairy garment. Go look at what Hebrew Israelites say. They always say that the reason why he was pointed out, the reason why they pointed out the fact that he looked like that is because nobody else looked like that. He looked different from everybody else. So therefore, Esau's skin color, which is really his hair color, was what was noticed. Because it didn't say anything about skin. It said it was red all over like a hairy garment. That's like a hairy coat. There's nothing but hair that you're going to see. It was no skin color to talk about. He was talking about the hair. It was red all over like a hairy garment. When you look at how Hebrew Israelites try to describe, you know, why they mentioned Simeon looked like this in Acts chapter 13 and verse 1, when it talks about the different disciples of Jesus. It mentions one who's called Simeon. His name is Simeon called Niger. Why did they point him out if he looked like everybody else? Why did they feel the need to point him out if they looked like everybody else? So that's my question. Sacramento Truth Movement. How come they pointed out how Simeon looked? Simeon called Niger. Was it because he looked different from everybody else? I don't know. What do you think? I see you in the comments section. You can actually join the live stream if you want. I'll send you a link. Do you think the Chinese are Israelites? The Israelites are the people that you read about in the Bible. The Israelites were people that existed a long time ago. There are no people called Israelites today except for the fake Hebrew Israelites that you see in the movement in Harlem and all of this. That, well, it came out of Harlem, New York, and it's stretched out, you know, pretty much worldwide right now. But the original doctrine comes from 125th Street, Harlem, in a church that was, the address was 1 West 125th Street with REI and the whole 12 tribes shit. There were people before that talking about how blacks in America are the real Hebrew Israelites. From Frank Cherry, you could go back to like the early 1900s and look that up. But when they started saying that Hispanics are Hebrew Israelites, like in the late 1970s or 60s, they say it's the 60s, but you don't have no evidence of them even claiming that the Native Americans, that Brazilian Indians and Taino Indians and Arawak Indians, that they all descend from the 12 lost tribes of Israel. There's no evidence of none of that. What about the Jews in Israel? The Jews in Israel have Israelite DNA, but they're not even called Israelites. So what is an Israelite? An Israelite was a group of people that existed in a certain time. Where were they? What were they before they were called Israelites? There were no people called Israelites before. Then there came a time. There was a time when there were no Israelites. For a long time, they were actually listed as like one of the last nations according to the Bible, which makes no sense. What is a nation? How do you start a nation? The whole father seed doctrine is bullshit, because Moab and Ammon come from the same father, yet they're two different nations. So it's not about the father seed. You're just making up your own doctrine here. What about the Fiji people? Are you also claiming those are Israelites? Yeah, this guy's a straight fraud over here. What do you mean I'm also claiming they're Israelites? I don't claim anybody's an Israelite. Did you hear what I just said? This is a troll right here for sure. Stop trolling before I block you off my shit, all right? Listen to what I'm saying. Do you believe somebody's an Israelite? Tell me who the Israelites are. I'm not the one claiming to be an Israelite. Dude, when you say, how about the Fiji people? Are you also claiming those are Israelites? What do you mean also claiming? Who am I claiming are Israelites? I don't know who you're talking to. Doesn't make any sense. What up, Myron? Oh, yeah, Sacramento. Yeah, the Jewish people in Israel have Israelite DNA, whatever that is. Whatever you want to call that, because Israelite DNA is also the same as Canaanite DNA. Canaanites and Israelites are the same people. When you read the Bible, they tell you that Canaanites are Hamites and Israelites are Shemites. Canaanites spoke Semitic language. They are Semitic people. They didn't come from Ham, or no Ham. I mean, there's no evidence that there was ever a Ham, a Shem, a Japheth. These are all stories that later on became real according, to what people believe in. It became real in their minds when they read the Bible. How the hell is Canaan of a whole different nation when they have the same alphabet as the Israelites? You can find their bones are scattered all throughout the nation or the land of Israel, and the DNA testing that was done on there, you can see the same sequencing, the DNA sequencing that's found. It can be in the Jews, and the Middle Eastern people can be still found in Canaanites, because Jewish people and Middle Eastern people share the same DNA. Black people, sub-Saharan Africans, were not a majority ever in Israel, and I don't think they ever will be. So that's just a fact. Yeah, Jewish people definitely have Israelite DNA. That's been proven already. This is a fact. Am I a Hamite? How would I prove to you whether I'm a Hamite? Are you just gonna believe me if I say that? What the hell is a Hamite anyways? How would I get Hamite DNA? Because you would call a Canaanite a Hamite, but Canaanites are not Hamites. Canaanites are actually Semitic. They're not Hamitic. They had a Semitic language. They had the Phoenician alphabet. I bet you if I get this guy right here on my live stream, he can't even hang with the history or the knowledge. He's a newbie. He sounds like he's a newbie. And some of the responses, I can tell. This cat's just, what a waste of time. I mean, just questions left and right, just questions and questions and questions. You guys can come on the live stream and, but